of Monday, October 18th, 2021. Would you all please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to take something out of order tonight. We have some new business and some friends with us here this evening. Here's Mr. Murphy. Welcome, Tom. We just started, so we're going to take an item without any objection out of order tonight. Under new business, we have garden contest winners, and I'm going to turn it over to our director, Brendan, for a little summary.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming. So we have two representatives from the Burlington Garden Club with us tonight, Suzanne Raposo and Jane Boyven. It just so happens that we had began working with them 2 years ago, or a year ago, on a garden contest for residents. And it was done as a safe and physically distant event in cooperation with the Garden Club and the Parks and Recreation Department. As we all know, gardening can be a great way to enjoy the outdoors, get physical activity, beautify the community, and grow nutritious fruits and vegetables. And over the last couple of summers, the program has grown quite a bit. In this past summer, we offered 5 categories for the garden contest. We have senior, ages 60 and above garden. We have a vegetable or herb garden. We had a porch, balcony, or container garden. And then we had a junior flower garden and junior, and that was for ages 8 to 16. So we have winners in each category with win a 1-year membership to the Burlington Garden Club. So we're thankful for the Garden Club for donating that. And I hope people take full advantage of it because the Burlington Garden Club does an awesome job. For those of you who don't know, they do maintain all of the planters on the common, behind our building, down on Wynn Street, the container there, Wynn and Center, that intersection. And they also work on the, I'm going to forget the name, the garden across from Colonial Garden, thank you, Kelly, across from the banks there on Olympia Way as well. So they really do a lot around town, keeping things beautiful, and they do the library containers as well. So we're very thankful for all the work they put into the gardens. But then we have our winners as well. So I thought it might be nice if we introduce the winners of each category, and if you'd like to come up and we could take a nice picture with the recreation commissioners, and we can send you a copy, but we'll also use it on our social media as well as a way to recognize the winners. So as I mentioned, this year we have 4 winners in 4 categories, we have winners in 4 categories. The first one was vegetable herb garden, and that was Suzanne Raposo, who happens to be a member of the Garden Club, but the Burlington Garden Club. If you'd like to come up, we'll present you with a certificate, and then you can just come up in front here. And
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, please. Thank you.
so I'm going to hand you this certificate, and I'm going to take your picture. So,
All right.
Right in the middle, go right in the middle. There you go.
right in the middle.
Yeah, I'm not tall enough to pull up.
All right.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Give you the list. Okay.
Our next category is porch, balcony, or container garden. And our winner this year was Melissa O'Dowd. So Melissa, if you'd like to come up.
Congratulations.
Our next category is a flower garden, and the winners are Jane and Bill Boyven. If you'd like to come up. And if you haven't been to the Boyvens, you might want to stop by. You could spend a day there. They did a great job, their whole yard, so.
Wonderful Halloween display.
Oh, I haven't been over yet, very good. All right, thank you.
Congratulations, folks.
And then our junior garden was Aditya Patel. If you'd like to come out, they did a great job. Here you go. You want to back right up, I'll take your picture. There you go. Thank you very much. And I don't know if either member of the garden club wanted to say anything. If you would like to, you can come on up to the front here and the microphones will pick you up.
We're just here.
Yeah, right by the table there.
We just want to thank all the participants and the recreation department for helping us with this. It's a great way to, as Brendan mentioned, get people out into the gardens, enjoying nature, and just showing pride in Burlington. So really want to welcome our two newest members. We hope that they enjoy Garden Club this year and enough to continue on with us. So thank you and congratulations.
So, thank you again. I was actually one of the judges. It was awesome to see all the hard work that people put into their gardens at their houses, and some very creative. The junior category, we had 3 or 4, and you guys were definitely the most creative. It mixed, some vegetables and flowers, and also, I believe you had some live fish in there, right? So you really had the whole thing going. So, excellent job. So, thank you.
Thank you, Brendan, and thanks to all of you for organizing and participating in this. It's a wonderful activity, as Brendan said, and I know the Garden Club has been around for a long, long time and beautifying the common area and different places around town. So, on behalf of all the citizens here, we thank you for your great work and volunteer work. So, we're very lucky.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move back to the regular order of our agenda, and the next thing that we have is approval of the minutes of September 23rd, 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Norton, seconded by Commissioner Gaffney to approve the minutes of September 23rd, 2021. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put the motion to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain. I wasn't present.
It's 301. And we need to get these initials, Dave. Okay, while we're doing that, the next item on our agenda this evening is public participation. We have people out there, but I think,
Participating amongst
yeah, they're
themselves.
participating amongst themselves. So seeing no one here for public participation, we're going to move on to the director's report. It's all yours, Brendan.
Thank you. So, at one of our past meetings, we talked about making a temporary move of the pickleball courts at Simons Park to, as a trial for the noise that some of the neighbors had brought to our attention. We did start that last week on Wednesday, October 13th, and it will run through tomorrow when the test ends, or it ran through today. We have 4 pickleball courts lined by our maintenance division on the street hockey area, and we have 4 sets of nets up for the last week. We couldn't have picked a better weather week. The weather has been spectacular. So anyways, the information on the temporary move was posted on our social media platforms. We have posted signage in a number of locations at Simons Park, so people were directed to the right area. The courts, were used, and we will reach out to the neighbors to have a conversation, a follow-up conversation there, and then I'm sure we'll have a further discussion at this level with the results. But I had mentioned in one of our last discussions on pickleball that we removed the courts from the online scheduler, from pickleball scheduler, and it's definitely resulted in less people coming to the courts, which I think is a good thing. Less, non-residents traveling from towns not even in close proximity to Burlington, which I think definitely help with pace of play. More people getting to play, more of our residents and members of our Club 50 program that play after, or, come and play in the open play. So we are, thankful that they were accommodating to take off Burlington, and I did get some assurances that we won't be put back on. There's other places people can go and schedule meetups and things like that, but I think the numbers have kind of, subsided, not being large numbers, and sometimes 20, something people up there waiting to play, rotating through.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, made a difference. And I'm also working on a quote for some additional Acoustablock panels to cover the remaining fences, to see what that would cost, but also to cover that 2-foot zone at the bottom. Had a conversation with the sales rep last week, and their designer was away on vacation, so he thought he would get in touch with him to give us a quote for the 2-foot, and then it's a standard price for the other panels. So we'll look at that, add that part to our discussion with the neighbors and our discussion here, and come up with a plan moving forward. But I think, the maintenance staff, Bill may have that in his report as well. They did a nice job lining the courts, and the tape really stayed. There were some people that went and played street hockey before we had moved the pickleball courts up, and they skated right over it. It worked out all right. So more to come on pickleball, just what we all wanted to hear. So then Rihanna's Park, the parking lot project, the last we spoke, they were finishing up some of the site work on the edges. They have paved the entire Patriot Road side, so that parking lot has been completely finished. The last thing they have to do is line, so they'll come in and stripe it. I don't know when that is. That's, again, engineering is running the project. I'll try to get an update this week. And then the Mill Street side, at our last meeting, engineering was going to the Conservation Commission for an addendum to the project to add drainage, and that was approved as well. So they'll have a contractor do the drainage on the playground side of the parking lot at Mill Street, and then they'll have to cut across the binder coat, and they'll wait a year before they pave that. They'll let it go sit through the winter, but the binder coat's pretty tough and durable, so we don't anticipate any issues with plowing or anything this winter. Or on Rihanna's, we did talk briefly at the end of the meeting about some flooding that we had been experiencing on the back soccer fields beyond the dog park. We worked with Conservation and the Board of Health to obtain permission to remove some beavers that had created a dam, and hired a local trapper. They did successfully trap 2 beavers, and now we're working with Eastern Middlesex Mosquito Control Project to breach the dam and remove debris that are left there. It is something that they do because it does breed mosquitoes, the stagnant water. And I don't think, we still haven't been able to cut back there yet. It's probably gonna be maybe end of the season if we can get a cut in there, because it was wet, I don't know, from July on, basically, in that back area. So, Rihanna has been a hotbed of things over the last few weeks. We have been approached by a local cricket player about creating a designated cricket pitch in Burlington. A couple of years ago, we had met with someone and looked at Mary P.C. Cummings State Park, the section that we have access to. But this resident wanted to look at Miter Field. So I did walk the area to see where the pitch could be placed without interfering with other uses. You know, we don't do a lot of soccer there anymore, so we have created a 50-70 transition diamond there, but also skinned the infield so we could do adult softball. I think this would be far enough into the outfield where, you know, we could put a, what they've done in other towns is put really thin artificial turf, almost like the old turf you put on your patio, the green stuff, because it gives them a firm surface to pitch from. And so anyways, they've sent me plans from other communities that have done it. I think Tewksbury did one. Chelsea or Quincy just did one. And they look pretty nice. So this group is interested in contributing to the project. You know, it would have to get into our queue of things that we're working on. It may not happen this fall, but it is an area that we could potentially have, you know, dedicated for cricket on the weekends when baseball and soccer aren't using it. You know, Bill and I did speak about this. We haven't gone out on site yet, but we will walk the site and figure that out. So it's nice to know that the group is willing to contribute to the project. And I know cricket is growing not quite as much as pickleball, but it is an ever-expanding and more popular sport in Burlington and the region as well. Next one, disc golf. So we've had some conversations with a small group of disc golf players on improving the course, including tee and pin locations, along with tee box improvements. One of the people involved is a world-ranked disc golfer, travels all over the world, and is ranked in the World Disc Golf Association. And he's offered his expertise to the project. The work is, the group is working on a presentation. They've walked the course and they've offered up some, you know, updates to the course layout, things that'll help with the flow, but also help with, you know, improving the tee boxes, which we've talked about before. Had the conversations with Bob Kuna with the school department about when they replace the turf field there. There's 2 additional rolls from the current turf field that were used, I guess, or needed, or kept for patches if needed, and they've never had to use them. So we do have the ability to take that on and make some nice tee boxes, keep them green. In this group as well has a lot of interest from their you know, disc golf community, and has some connections with some contractors, some concrete companies. So if we had to make a concrete, you know, 4x8 tee box and then cover it with artificial turf or something else. So when they get their presentation cleaned up and to us, we'll sit down and review it, and then you know, I'm sure we'll have a conversation here at some point on the best way to proceed. But again, another group that's interested in helping us out to improve that, but also be involved themselves financially and with materials. And then my last item is, beginning at our next meeting in November, we will have a new recording clerk for our commission meetings. Emily O'Donohue will be the recording clerk. She is currently doing the minutes for the zoning bylaw review committee. So we're excited to have her on. Maybe no one more excited than Kelly,
Kelly's
who's been
very
helping us
excited,
out.
yes, yes.
The best news of the day.
So, especially since we're meeting in person, they are still recorded, the meetings are recorded by BCAT, but, so we can always go back and see what you miss, and it's hard to do the minutes while you're participating in the meeting, so, thank you, Kelly, but, we're excited to have Emily on board. So,
Thank you. Brandon.
that is it.
Are there any questions for the director on his report?
Just maybe some comments with the pickleball. I actually have been down there and have used the the ones above, and I think you did a great job lining them. It didn't even look like duct tape on there. We thought they were professionally lined, so congratulations to the group for doing that. I think on the disc golf, my only concern that, and I actually played disc golf up at Waterville Valley, so I've been around and have done done in Florida, up done there. A lot of concrete pads, but they have some rubber pads too, but I think our biggest problem with it is the vandalism, right? Even with the posts and the directions that you go to the places that are out there and people don't tend to vandalize them as much as they see at Simon's Park. That's, I don't know what you can do about that, but the only request I always have that with the world-class disc golfer, not everyone's world-class, so if the course is going to be modified, to keep in mind the not so accurate players,
That it's a recreation course. Yes, exactly. And I think some of the suggestions that they have was more to direct some of the fairways away from people. Try not to throw over people and that are
Oh, yeah.
watching other sports.
My
or whatever.
T4 goes right into the T5 box, and, yeah, every time.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is, just small adjustments.
That's
Yes,
all.
not making it more than, more complicated or more difficult than it should be.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dave, any questions or comments?
Just a comment, I was down at Rihanna's Park, and the paving came out awesome. What a difference, especially on off of Patriot Road, all the way wrapping around, so that's like, came out beautiful. So, and on the flooding off Mill Street, I was down there the other day, so we had beautiful weather all last week. I was there Thursday or Friday. So there was still tons of water there. So have we always had problems like that? Always?
It's always been wet.
Yeah, it's been wet.
But that was it was still probably a ton of water there.
But it
after
hasn't
6 or
held
7
like,
months.
this year,
Yeah, this year's been especially bad, but
Lake Rihanna's.
it's
Now,
always.
is it more because they put the curb up a little bit higher on the?
You mean the picnic
Yes.
area?
What are they going to do? Are they going to rip that all up again?
No, so they had to build the parking lot up. There was
Right,
no
I
base.
saw
It was
that.
basically some gravel on top of dirt and then
Right.
paved. So to put a proper surface on, they need a proper subsurface. So they had to build up that surface. So that trapped the water that used to flow across the parking lot, and then some would still stay under the trees there, but would slowly, go into the ground. But now they've built it up, none of that water goes across, and it takes longer for that water to go through. So what they're going to do is, where the shed is, when you're looking at the shed
Yeah.
and towards the playground, to the left of the shed, I think the plan was to put in a drain similar to what's on the other side. If you go to the other side of the parking lot, you'll see little drain covers. It'll go into a pipe and flow back towards Mill Street, and then come across the parking lot, where just as you pull in, it kind of opens up a little. Right in that area, they'll cut across the parking lot there and attach to the drains on the other side.
Okay.
And it does drain slowly into the brook, but it's all meant to filter in first, through the grassy area over there, into the drain, and then into the brook.
Okay. Because they put all right. I just want to make sure because it was still pretty wet there.
Yeah.
And you guys said it flooded, right? Pretty bad?
Yeah, we had to put planks out there so they could walk to the shed a couple times.
Yeah,
It's really wet.
unbelievable. But, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay. Did you have any questions, Tom?
I'm good, thanks.
I just had one, I guess it's a question, Brendan. When you were talking about cricket over at Mitre Field, we have quite a large geese population, or goose population over there. And I don't know if I'd want my grandkids playing in that field with all of the, excrement that they
Yeah.
create over there. Is there anything that we can do to try to
So
control them a little bit?
We used to have a goose chaser with a dog, and the problem subsided for a while, and we were still paying him, the person, the company, a good salary, and I think what was happening, they'd chase from there,
To Wildwood.
then they'd fly to Wild, yeah.
Go there and
Yeah,
chase
you
them
need,
back.
you need a
Chase 'em back.
comprehensive, I know,
Right.
I know.
So
Much
we,
security for that.
we can look into that again to keep them off of there.
An awful lot of them over there now.
Yeah,
I think
this time of year, as they start heading in a different direction more, I think you see them, early spring too. But we can look into that, get a price to do some chasing.
Yeah.
Chase them towards Bedford, maybe.
Direct them
Chase
straight.
Bedford, yeah.
Yeah,
And one other question, it wasn't really raised in your report, but I'll just bring it up now, Brendan. In terms of the budget season, what's the season look like going forward for the commission?
so we haven't had any guidelines. I did have, coming from the administration yet, but I did have a conversation with accounting, and it's gonna look probably very similar to last year. They don't have the most recent receipts when I had the conversation in yet. I think the restaurant stuff is up, receipts. Hotels are probably lagging behind, but I think they're better than what they were last year. With that in mind, hopefully we'll see what we did last year, a level fund, maybe a little better. I don't know. I know that's something they're working on. They've had conversations started with Ways and Means and the administration here. So as soon as I have some information, I will pass it, but, I think we will have some increases to our budget. I think some much-needed increases, so.
Well, stay tuned for
Yes.
maybe a November update.
Yes, I hope to start our discussion in November, because I think there will be some increases that we need to have some good, hearty conversations on.
Excellent. All right, moving on. Next item on the agenda is the Parks Superintendent Report. Mr. Baker.
All right, thank you. We talked about the maintenance crew lined the 4 temporary pickleball courts up in the street hockey area. We also had to take down all the permanent nets on the lower pickleball courts and blocked off that area so that just the upper area would be used. We've spent a lot of time weeding, weed whacking at the various playgrounds. We then used approximately 45 yards of playground mulch to bring the levels up around the equipment. We've been going around to all the ball fields one last time to end the season. This is to groom and use the tines of the ball field machines to tear out any weeds or grass growth. It starts to overtake the fields when they're not in use. Most of the past week, a majority of our crew was preparing Simon's Park for the Spooktacular event that took place Friday night. The park was thoroughly cut and trimmed. We collected pallets from all over town for a couple weeks for the bonfire. Grass along Cambridge Street was lined as a parking lot. We had to supply generators, set up horses, cones, extra barrels, picnic tables, as well as clean up after the event. And the event went pretty well. And we've still been keeping up with the cutting, trimming, line painting for sports and trash pickup at all the parks and schools.
Very good. Any comments or questions for Mr. Baker?
No comment.
I would just say, Bill, I think the fields look good, especially the baseball fields and all the main playgrounds. I think they look really good.
Thanks.
Tell the guys they're doing a good job. I think what we put in place for the fields has worked unbelievable. So, I know it costs a lot of money, it's a lot of work, but I think the residents of Burlington can really see the difference in the playgrounds with that program. So, good stuff.
I'm all set, thanks.
Just one quick question, Bill. Are we still waiting for a piece of equipment that we were,
No, we got the
Final
slice
purchase,
eater,
is
we were
everything
waiting
in?
for the slice eater, we got that last week,
Yep.
and that's what we were waiting on.
excellent.
We will probably get a chance to utilize it. We'll do one more seeding on some of the fields, especially Francis Wyman, since we're not using any herbicide there to get rid of the crabgrass. So we're aggressively overseeding there in fertilizing. So that's what's, there's no crabgrass. It's died off at this point, and we'll overseed. And but if you haven't gotten a chance and, this weekend you're looking for something to do, take a tour of the parks. Simons we see all the time, Wildwood we see, but, Upper Rihanna softball field, Veterans, Regan.
Veterans, Regan, they're not
Oh,
even,
Rehannes
not even
is
irrigated,
Rehannes
and they
is
look
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Rehannes is beautiful.
Yeah, the softball field, it's thick, we gotta stay on top of the cutting. Veterans, the same thing. I was ready to work with baseball on redoing the infield, the actual grass part of the infield at Veterans. And
I've never seen veterans look that good.
yeah, now granted, we've had a lot of great rain,
Severe, yeah.
but we've been able to make some strides this year with that program, with the rain, with staying on a schedule that hopefully will, continue going forward, will benefit us. Really look great, and even Marvin and Rotary, same thing. We've filled them in. They're irrigated, so that helps, but it's really
I would say the
proven.
fields have never looked better as long as I've been on the commission. And especially as a child growing up we've all grew up in this town, so, when we grew up, we all know what the fields look like. I mean, but that's, we got the balls, you learned how to get the skip a little bit better, but, I mean, I think they're awesome. I mean.
And
Marvin,
was there
Rotary-
such a thing as infield mix when you were, it was
No,
dirt?
like, so,
It was
yeah.
dirt.
So,
I played on
mean,
dirt Little
So
League.
to the residents of Burlington, you have some great ball fields, in my estimation, so, I think the program's really worked well. Tax dollars going in the right place.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments before we move on? All right, moving on, next item on our agenda is the programming report. Kelly Lehman, please.
So our staff has been working on winter programs. So next week or next week, we hope to have all of our winter programming finalized. We're looking at a mid-November registration for our winter programs. We are gonna probably stay at the same programming level we currently are at, just to kind of get through winter and cold and flu season and see how COVID might affect that. Once spring comes, it's probably gonna be a different story. We would like to get back to full pre-COVID programming numbers, which is something that our staff is looking forward to. We want to get outside, we want to get people outside, and I think we've done a decent job of that so far. And we just want to stay safe for one more season and then kind of ramp it up a little bit from there. So that brochure should go online the beginning of November with like I said, a mid-November registration start, with programs starting January, and they'll run through March. We were very excited to announce that we have hired a new fitness administrator, which is awesome. Kristin Gonzalez joined us starting today. She is a local woman who used to work for us as a fitness instructor for a good bit of time, and she's come back to take over all of our fitness and wellness programming. She has some really great ideas and great energy, so we're excited to have her on board to take that over, because we did have to shift responsibilities of that to our other programming staff. So they'll be able to kind of get freed up the same time we are looking to ramp up programming in the spring. So the timing for that has been great, and we're excited to have Kristin on board. She's going to be a great fit. We had a little event on Friday. It was called the Spooktacular, and It was very well attended, maybe a little too well attended. There was a lot of people. We estimated, based on past years, we probably would have 2,500 people. I think we were closer to maybe 4,000, maybe even more than that. We introduced a candy crane drop this year, which was very well received by the kids and the families. Probably also too well received. We saw a lot of people from Burlington and surrounding communities. We also did a spooky walk for businesses. We did a spooky walk contest. So businesses had the ability to come in and set up a spooky scene along the trail in the woods at Simon's. We had them stay family friendly from 4:30 to 6, and then from 6 to 7, when the sun kind of went down, it got creepy. So that was awesome and very well received by the residents. We got a lot of great feedback from that. We are still counting ballots, so we don't necessarily have a winner to announce tonight, but we will be announcing that in the coming days. The winner of the event, of the Spooky Walk contest, will get a free title sponsor package from our department, which allows them exposure at 8 of our events, our special events, excluding Celebrate Burlington, among a number of other things. Name on the turkey trot shirt, a couple others, a concert, I think, and some other smaller venues for us as well. Second place will receive a silver sponsor package at Celebrate Burlington, which is a $1,500 value, where they get extra tickets to the VIP lounge, they get to put their banner up, and those kinds of things. So we're excited that it was well received, and all the businesses did an amazing job. One of them came and they were like, I'm a little too Disney, I think I need to go get a couple things. So he called a couple of his staff and brought in some spookier stuff. But everyone I spoke to about the Spooky Walk said it was great, and geared to the right ages at the right times. So that's kind of what we were looking for. We also had a few bounce house things, some donuts on a string. Did we do anything else? Games, we had
Bowling.
games. Yeah. But it was great. We met this morning to go over changes and recommendations for next year. So hopefully we'll be able to address some of the concerns that residents have put out there, including, traffic on a Friday evening on 3A, and looking at how we can better mitigate that. Is something we are going to go ahead and take a look at. But we did take a lot of comments, both constructive and positive, and kind of put them together. I would like to say publicly that Superman was not Brendan on the crane, even though just about everyone I spoke with said, "Is that really Brendan?" And I said, "No, it wasn't." But the crane drop itself, the candy crane drop, was amazing. That was so much fun, and we are glad that it was safe and no one got hurt.
Yes, and so just to echo Kelly's comments, we had planned for about half of the amount of people that showed up. And I think that says something about the events that the department puts on. Together, the program and the maintenance division had Simon's Park hopping, looking great in hopping on Friday night. Timing with traffic, definitely. Probably didn't take that into consideration, but I think coupled with not a lot of towns doing things still, us always doing things great, and the weather, people getting out of their house, everything was outdoors, we didn't have anything indoors, so I think it was, the perfect storm, and our program division deserves a lot of credit for putting the event together and thinking outside the box and doing this candy crane drop. And then our maintenance division getting the park, looking beautiful, and showcase it on a Friday night in the fall and beautiful weather. It was great. So, there was, definitely some things that will change, and, getting together this morning and going through those, was very helpful. So I'm sure they parked on all side streets around the park.
Maybe,
So
I thought,
maybe those adjacent could have charged for parking.
had I been there at the beginning, but the time I got there was too late. If I may, Mr. Chair, just to follow up, speaking as somebody who lives in the area, I thought it was great. I mean, I love seeing, I know maybe it's too crowded from what you're saying, but yeah, I just love seeing all the people up in the buzz, people walking all over the place and the noise, and I just thought it was fantastic. My wife took a walk over with the grandchildren, and they were like in awe. I mean, they were little kids, like 2 and 3 and 4 and whatever, but, you know, everybody's dressed up, and it was just a fantastic night, so congratulations. I know it was a lot of work, and traffic's traffic. You're not going to get around that on a Friday night, but and I think you're right, the weather played into it. It was a beautiful night, people looking to get out, and but, you know, like I said, as somebody who lives in the area, putting up a little traffic one night a week, one night a year isn't that big of a deal, and but just to see that many people enjoying themselves. And the bonfire, I could sit in my front porch reading a book. Bonfire, that was great. So no, job well done, that was fantastic.
I saw the remnants of the bonfire the other day when I went up to Simon's Park, and I thought they had fireworks or something. Look at the size of this thing, but I'm sure everybody loved it. Any other comments?
I gotta say something about that day. I mean, so I was there, just, my wife was doing, she was setting up for the Spooktacular Walk, so I went there. It was, I don't know, you guys were working all day up there. I saw everybody, and when it started, I could not, it was like a swarm of people. I'm like, what is, so there was a police officer down low, and it was just amazing. It really was. It was incredible to see the kids and how they came out, dressed, residents dressed, people from other communities. So I'm saying to Kelly, did you put like flyers in every kid's school bag or something? I don't know what's going on. I mean, it seemed like, so I don't know how many students are in our program. You guys probably know, being on the school committee, young kids under 10, but it seemed like every one of them was at the park.
That is the work of social media, and that is the
So-
reach that it gets. So our events got shared, our photos promoting the Candy Crane Drop specifically were shared. They were shared probably 60 or 80 times, and then they get shared off of that, which we don't really get to see anymore. But, you know, we knew it was gonna be big. We didn't know it was gonna be that big. So, you know,
Yeah, and you
you
guys
learn
will work
in-
on it, but
Yep.
as a community event, phenomenal,
Yep.
unbelievable. Great job. I can't say enough about it. And with it being so big, being in control, I know at the beginning, it was crazy, but you guys figured it out on the go, which could have happened. The one recommendation from me, being there, is the one thing we really got to look out for is handicap parking.
Yep.
With a lot of people being dropped off, we weren't really able to. So that's, for next year, that's the one thing we really got to look at, is handicap people coming in late. That was the one thing that I was really worried. But other than that, we controlled it. I thought you guys did a great job, and, you know, little trinkets and crackers, but great job.
Great.
Very good. Well, we're going to move on now to the next item on our agenda, which is going to be a real quick one, because it's the chairman's report. And since I learned this morning that I was going to be sitting in this chair, I really have nothing to report. So we're going to move right on to, and I don't know if we have subcommittee reports, but I'm going to open it up for anyone who wants to talk about any subcommittee issues. Anybody have anything?
I have a subcommittee sculpture park meeting tomorrow morning,
Okay.
but I have no idea what's on the agenda. And it's just thrown out there, so that's all I have.
Where's that meeting, Dave?
It's gonna be a Zoom meeting. We usually have it at the sculpture park, but with, I don't know, Barbara wanted to have it. Barbara LaRue's the chairwoman, so it's Zoom. Usually it is in Zoom. Usually it is in Zoom, so.
Okay. Well, you can tell us about it November meeting.
Yeah, well, they want to start generating money and stuff like that. I know that, because those sculptures, they have to purchase them, or
Yeah.
they go back, so that's a big issue.
All right, very good. Next, we have new business. Does any member have any new business that they want to discuss tonight, other than what we've talked about? No. Okay. So, any old business to discuss this evening? Anyone? No? All right. I do not believe we have any need for executive session, am I correct?
No.
Okay, so, with that, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Murphy, seconded by Commissioner Norton, I'll say. That was a tie. And put the motion to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And that's 4-0.